Corinne Crimson is a singer, songwriter, producer, and videographer based in California. She writes music as spiritual guidance, used to manifest a higher version of herself. She hopes to inspire others through her craft, and I had the pleasure of having the first video interview with her to discuss her process. So, I am so excited to be interviewing you today. I discovered your music maybe a year ago when your song Queen went viral on TikTok. Yeah. And absolutely just infatuated by it. The production is phenomenal, the songwriting. And it led me down the rabbit hole of your whole career on YouTube. And so one of the first questions I have for you, it's kind of a basic one, but how would you describe yourself as an artist?
So basically, I'm a singer-songwriter, producer, video.
You're a lot of...
Yeah. And I started writing music when I was 15. I was grounded all the time, always getting in trouble, super religious household. Maybe some of your listeners can relate with that, but I had a lot of time on my hands, and I would just vent all my frustrations and anxieties and depressions, and it was very healing for me, and that's where it all started. So I started out on guitar and was in many bands, and then I discovered dance music, EDM, and how you can just produce it at home, and that just opened the doors to everything new for me. So
that basically just... Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's what started my musical journey. I was the same way. I was 15 years old, just trying to vent on paper and turn it into something artistic. But you've really branched out beyond music. Like you said, you are a video editor, you're a photographer now and stuff like that. So how did you find yourself doing all of that?
A little bit on the production side. I started out with producers producing my music. So I would put the guitar track, find a drum track that was the right beats per minute, and then I would send it to a producer and say, these are the chords, blah, 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 and they would make the song for me. And it's not until a year or two ago that I started producing my own music. Queen is actually not one of the songs that I produced myself.
Do you have any influences in your music, and who are some of your favorite artists?
So right now I'm obsessed with Upsall. I also love Toblo.
I was just listening to her.
I got respect for Taylor Swift. I saw her concert movie and I was just like, wow, what an incredible journey for her. I feel like I kind of started out later than a lot of people start, but I still feel like, each month making a new song, I'm getting closer and closer to where I want to be. And now that I've started to take over the production myself, I can make the songs even more my vibe than having another hand in it, I think it's more freeing. And also the other part is I can make music as fast as I want to.
That's true. Yes.
Without relying on anybody else.
That's exactly why I need to start producing my own music. And one of the reasons I ask you who your influences are is because I've never really heard music like yours before, in the way that it feels like manifestation music. It feels like a lot of what you're singing is like you're going to speak it into existence, and it's very spiritual. You write a lot about the culture. So I'm interested to know, where does that come from, and how do you find music as a vessel to deliver that message?
I'm so glad you're asking this, because this was a really transformational epiphany that I had. So it all started with the song Charms, and it was kind of like a joke. You know how rappers rap like, I got houses and cars,
Yes.
girls and blah, blah, blah. And they didn't have that when they first wrote the song.
Hmm.
They were in their mom's basement, with a little synthesizer or something. And it's like the more times they sing it, they're like speaking it into existence. And it's like the more times I listen to my own song Charms, like I'm getting ready, singing it to myself in the mirror and, getting ready to go out. And I was just like, oh, this song is really giving me some mojo. I was like feeling really good about myself. It's like the more you repeat it, the more it becomes true. And I was like, oh, what else can I write? So I really started to read, manifestation books and other self-help books. I've always been into self-help books and like reprogramming my brain. I struggled with depression when I was a teenager. I was that kid that was thinking about suicide all the time. And, I think a lot of people go through that and the feelings stay for so long that they think that they're permanent. And writing music really helped me get out of that. When I first started writing music, I was just venting and I would write this cool song and everyone would like it, but then I'd be thinking about that situation that made me sad enough to write the song, or that situation that made me angry enough to write the song. It's like you write about a breakup, and then you're thinking about that dumb person every time you sing the song for the next 2 decades.
Hmm.
Everyone's requesting that song. You don't want to think about that. You don't want to give that person any more of your energy. So I was like, okay, I got to rethink this. And I want to tell you, like that song Queen, I read this book and I'm telling everybody, I'm telling all my friends, read this book. It's The Audacity to Be Queen. And it's about, taking responsibility for all of the things that are in your life and twisting them to your will, basically. And that inspired that song. And a lot of the books that I read inspire the songs that I write now.
You
Because
know,
yeah,
I
hey,
know exactly what you mean.
yeah. What do, 10, 20 years from now, if I'm singing this song to myself in the mirror, is it gonna like uplift me? Is it gonna give me joy? Is it gonna make me happy? That's what I want. And I want to pass that on to other people because people get stuck in these negative mind loops. I've been there myself. I mean, everyone has. You get stuck in this negative thought pattern and you need something to replace it. You need something to like overwhelm it and create something new. And yeah, so manifestation songs, I'm all about it. Like a lot of my songs aren't that deep and they're like just kind of fun. Um,
Yeah.
but some of them I'm really thinking about like how can I bring joy to the listener,
Hmm.
How can I make them happy about this day?
I wish I would have given you a little bit of pre-interview questions so that something I could ask you would be more book recommendations too. Like
Oh,
really, because I'm inspired by books and my music as well. I mean, the opening song on my first album was inspired by a book called Positive Energy by Judith Orloff. I don't know if you've read that one.
uh-uh.
But it's another one of those self-help books that's just all about gaining positive energy and how to feel the energy in the world and in the universe. And I just felt so inspired when I read that book, and that song just kind of fell out of me in a way. And a lot of my first album was manifestation music because I wrote a lot of it when I was in a really dark place in my life. I felt alone, and I'd never dated anyone before, and so I kind of just wanted to write a love album from the perspective of like as if I had experienced it. And I've been in a relationship now for some years now since that album has come out, and it's crazy to go back and listen to it and think, wow, like I really manifested a lot of this. Like this is exactly like what it feels like when I listen to some of my songs. So I love the message that you bring and the way that you choose to express yourself, because manifestation is a real thing, and I think you're using it so wisely.
You.
And so I want to go back to your process a little bit, because I can't emphasize enough that you do almost everything in your craft. So I want to ask you, I want you to involve, like, what does your schedule look like? Because I know on your website you emphasize that you want to release one song a month. And I just want to know, how do you pull that off? How do you go from writing the song to recording and producing it to filming the video and shooting everything? Like, what does that look like?
I don't watch much TV.
I don't either. I don't even have a television in my house.
um, and thankfully, I have a job where I can work from home, so I kind of just like get my work done, and the rest of the time I can like play with my projects. Each song, I'll be thinking about it for a couple months, a lot of the time before it actually comes to light. This song, my last song that I released, called Bewitched, I actually was thinking about this last year, that I wanted to release a song about like, this enchantress, like women's feminine, power to conjure men to them, and I got really sick, and so I had all the stems and I had all the stuff for it, but I wanted to release it in October for Halloween, so I kind of sat on it for a while. Other songs I'll just kind of make a calendar, and I'll write January, February, March, April, write it all down. And a lot of the times that month will inspire what this song is going to be. Like January, it's all about new beginnings. Or February, it's about love. Or March, springtime. Or St. Patrick's Day, partying. April, spring, May, my birthday month. June, summertime. I've got so many summertime songs. Like, I'm really inspired by summer. August and fall, I just think Halloween and Thanksgiving, like being appreciative and being thankful for all the abundance in our lives. December's obviously, either Christmas or Good Yule or the solstice, or whatever you want to celebrate, Hanukkah. Just like,
And
December's the time where like everyone's indoors and everybody wants to hang out with their family and get big gatherings. I think of that.
And so, with you finding inspiration in the way that you do, I've kind of gone through your discography to look at your projects, and I noticed you really only have EPs, right? Have you ever considered making a full-length album?
Yes. So I'm working on that. So, I realized I didn't really answer your question. So, the question of what is my process for
Yes.
beginning to end. So I'll think about it, and I'll be planning, I'll have the song topic in my mind for a couple months before I even start writing on it. And then I'll get one or two good lines, which will be the chorus. And then I'll go on Rhyme Zone or some other rhyming website, and just like I'll write down all the words that are really visual to me, or that elicit some kind of feeling that I want to evoke, and then I'll see what rhymes what words rhyme with that,
Hmm.
or what phrases rhyme with that. And so I'll write those all down, and I'll have this like long list, kind of like, how a sculpture will get like a big piece of wood, and then it'll like take away, take away, take away, take away
Yes.
until it's like the perfect sculpture. Like I start with this like huge word dump, and I just have like all of these things about it, and then I'll like narrow it down, because the more simple it is, the easier it is for it to stay in your mind. The earworm
Hmm.
thing, like
Yes.
it's so hard to do. It's so hard to simplify it to, only the most pertinent, the most meaningful words, but that's what eventually happens. And then I've also gotten better at, like, I used to make like 5-minute songs, and now I'm more like trying to be under 3 minutes because people's
That's
attention.
what's trendy.
So that's what I'm doing. And I'll put it in the structure. There's like a couple different song for what's it called? I'm not thinking of the right word right now. The progression, but the format. Anyway, there's a better word for it. I'll think of it. Verse, chorus, or verse, chorus, bridge, chorus.
Structure, formula.
Yeah, the formula. Uh, there's another word too. Anyway, pre-chorus, chorus, post-chorus. Yeah, I'll write that, and then the lyrics come together. And then as soon as I have the song recorded, or sometimes before, I'll set up my green screen. This is like one of my studios. I also have
Mm.
like my at my boyfriend's workshop. He has this like huge room, and if I need like a lot of space, I'll hang like a 20-foot green screen that goes all the way across the floor. And that's what I did for my most recent video, Bewitched. I just shot that a couple days ago, and I'll go into the studio, or I'll go outside with my phone and a tripod. Every video I've made all this time up until the past couple months has been with my iPhone.
Wow.
I just got a drone, and so now then there's going to be some videos coming out with the drone like flying around me. My song The Power was shot with my friend's drone, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. And I actually found a selfie drone that like takes off from your hand, and you can tell it to like circle you, or fly away from you and fly to you, or like fly up and fly down, or you can tell it to hover. So like if I walk towards it, it'll follow in front, or like follow, I can walk away from it and it'll follow me, or so there's new stuff coming out, but almost everything has just been with my phone and a light. Like that's it. And then I dropped the project into I'm using Final Cut. So I'll bring the mastered song inside, and then just spend like a couple weeks chopping and adding effects, and just taking the tiniest slivers of like 2 to 3 seconds and boop, 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 lining them all up. And then after that, the song's not done, because then it's like promotion. So, running an ad on Google, chopping it up for like TikTok, like a little 10 or 15 second clip, and then posting that as a reel as well. It's like from start to finish, it's like 3 months.
Wow.
And I've just got like all of these projects in different stages. All the way along.
It sounds like you've got some pretty high-tech stuff coming up, and I'm excited to see what's next. But going back to what you just said, you have so many projects in different stages, and going back to that last question of Have you considered releasing like a full body of work?
Yes, so thank you. Um, so I first started categorizing my songs into like the area where I wrote them. So desert and mountain. I used to live in Utah, so there's a
Hmm.
desert part and a mountain part. So some of the songs are about, you know, it's obvious. And then ocean is when I moved to California and Maui, living there. And so four EPs, mountain, ocean, desert, and oh yeah, and city.
Yes.
And I don't know if you've noticed on my Spotify, but right now it's like halfway new art and half of it is the,
Yes, I
the
did.
yeah. And I loved the drawn art. That artist is amazing. I love her.
Hmm.
She's so cool. And now she's doing like her own comic books.
Oh,
Yeah, but again, that's another one of those things that I wanted to take into my own hands because if I'm making my own art, it's so much more sustainable than paying somebody else to do it. And also, I'm the only one that's holding me back. It's just like the more time I put into it, the faster I can get it. And so now I'm doing my own album artwork, my own production, and still doing the songwriting and the videos.
so some of my favorite songs from you have been Amaranthine, Queen, and Infinity. I know those are probably some older ones, but I'm interested to know what is your favorite song or video that you've done?
I think The Power is my favorite video that is released, right?
Okay.
Because that's the one with the drone.
Okay.
So none of my drone videos are released yet, except for that one that my friend shot.
Okay.
And I was on the side of a cliff in Palos Verdes during a super bloom. So there's like, it rained really hard all that winter. And so in the springtime, it was just like flowers everywhere. And I'm wearing this like goddess dress, with like a goddess crown. And I'm like standing on the side of this cliff, like, moving the wind with my hands and ravens are flying around behind me. And it's just like, I couldn't have like even imagined a better time to do that. And so I think that to date, that's my coolest music video.
Yes.
My most popular songs are Queen and Amaranthine.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most meaningful songs are Queen. I love Infinity. I'm so glad that you mentioned that song because, like, everyone says Queen and Amaranthine, and then the third one is Oasis. Those were the most popular ones.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good thing I didn't say something predictable.
No. Like, there's a reason why they're popular, and I'm just making what comes to me each month. And I give myself that timeline of a month because so many artists get stuck trying to make it perfect.
Yes.
And like perfection is the killer of joy. And it's also the killer of your project. Like if you are trying to make it perfect, you will just never advance, So I'm just doing the best I can within that month, different stuff is happening different months. So depending on work or traveling or visiting family or, whatever is going on, I'm working in the spaces between that I have to myself that I can use to create. And so however much time I have that month, that's how much I'm putting into it. And then I just release it. And I have to share this with you because every time I release it, like I'm telling you, within a week, I'm like, oh, could have done that part better, or I could have sang that better, or I
Mhm.
hear a new harmony, or oh, that drum is too loud. Is that peaking out? Is there like did I pick the right guy to mix and master? Like there's so many
Yes.
ways to like second guess it, or even in the video, I'm just like, okay, of all the videos, this is the one they're gonna make fun of me for this one. Because it's so ridiculous, like in every one, I'm kind of putting myself out there, and there's always that possibility that people are gonna be like, what is she thinking? And I have to just be like, it doesn't matter. I'm putting it out to the universe, and the right people are gonna find it. One,
Yes.
you know, and
Exactly.
I can't tell you like it makes me so happy because people reach out to me and are like, this song really touched me. Or they say, like, I was getting ready for a job interview and I listened to Charmed to like pump myself up for the job interview. Or, I was having one couple reached out to me and they said they were listening to my song Oasis on their honeymoon, driving around. And I was like, if it can find the right people, if I just release it and release it with joy and take my own like ego out of it, I think it will find the right people.
Yes. And you're such a ball of sunshine that I can't imagine anyone hating on you. Like, that's something you don't need to worry about. But,
Surprised.
and I have maybe a suggestion that you gave me this idea while you were talking earlier about how sometimes you listen to something after a week or so and you think, oh, maybe I could have done that better. I could have done this harmony, or I could have done that. Have you thought of like remastering some of your music? You could maybe even make a compilation album of some of your greatest hits, and really perfect them to, yeah, because I know you say perfection is the enemy, but I think it would be nice to have like a little compilation of some of your favorite songs or the songs that you think really like connected with your audience, you
Yeah,
know? That could be fun.
it's gonna be so much fun because I'm already thinking about doing that. So okay, so there's two things I want to recommend to musicians and artists. So the first thing that got me started was soundbetter.com.
Yes.
So if you don't know about them, it's like you can hire a producer or a bass player or a singer or a songwriter. Whatever you're lacking in your song, you can hire out that piece of it and finish your song. So that really helped me get started. I started releasing songs in 2017 because of Sound Better. And my new thing is musiversal.com. So, okay, picture Sound Better, but you pay one fee per month, which is $200.
Hmm.
And you can book sessions, unlimited sessions
Huh.
with drummers, bass players, guitar players, singers, producers. So, for perspective, I was spending $200 a month just for mix and master.
Okay.
And
Wow.
that's a good deal.
It is.
Most people will say that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, definitely.
For $200 to get mixing and mastering plus singers and guitar players, and that makes it so much better. So to answer your question, I've been pulling down some of my older stuff that I'm just like, oh, now it makes me cringe. It's just like, oh. It's been some years. I could do such a better job.
Hmm.
And I'm redoing them.
That's exciting. That's exciting, though.
And to answer your question, so the songs that are ready right now, I'm re-releasing them in EPs with new artwork.
Okay.
City, mountain, desert. Desert is the one that just came out a few weeks ago. It's got Dream to Chase on it, which is a new song. I think if you're into manifestation songs, you might like that one.
Okay.
Um, it's about, you know, have you ever hiked small mountains and you get up to the top and everything looks so small and it just gives you a different perspective and you just kind of like reorganize your mind and reorganize your life, you know, but
Yes.
up high and you have a new perspective. You're just like, oh, everything that I was worried about really doesn't matter, you know, like the grass is still going to grow, the trees are still going to be here, you know, like it's fine. It's fine. Um, so that is on Desert. And so I'm compiling older songs with newer songs, older songs that I've redone with the new songs and releasing them as EPs. And then the more I write and the more I redo, they'll become full albums.
Awesome.
Yeah. But right
Well,
now I'm
I'm
putting out the EPs just to kind of get things started.
I'm excited that I got this exclusive information out of you so that I could tease some news when I start promoting this interview. I think that's awesome. Oop.
And just so you know, I'm not affiliated with any of the things recommended.
Oh, no, I didn't think so. After the interview, I couldn't help but feel inspired by her. Corinne's happiness was radiating through the interview, and I felt like I understood her message. A few days after the interview, she released her politically charged EP entitled Unite, including the disco-inspired track We're Not Going Back. She's always releasing new music, so it's always a great time to explore her page. I encourage you guys to check out her music and find the song that resonates with you the best.